Hi, I'm Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net. Well, you might notice I'm not in my apartment and I'm not in my home. This is Lake Como, long time on my bucket list. And I wanted to come here, but I am traveling with my girlfriend and a couple of other friends. And this is why I want to talk to you about today's discussion, which is the value of playing full out. My girlfriend just got engaged a couple days ago, and I am so thrilled for her, and I absolutely love her guy. And if I tell you that were I to have complete control and be able to design a man who would be absolutely perfect for my friend, I couldn't have found somebody better than the man to whom she is engaged. And how did we get to this place? Because it's one thing if you're my client, it's another thing if you're my girlfriend. I have enormous respect and a loyalty to my friends that have, throughout the years, when needed, they'll ask me a question about a guy. And, I do know that the advice I'm giving them is completely contrary to everything they're going to hear in the rest of the world. I understand that. And so you may have noticed that as well. I may be telling you to be open, and everybody else is telling you to be closed. I may be telling you to play your highest hand, and everybody else is saying treat them just like they treat you. Um, so the value of playing full out, being who you are, and not amending yourself downward. I watched my friend do this, and I remember the day that she called me first thing in the morning. So she's Gen X, grew up in an environment where women were allowed to be sexual. That's fine. Nobody had some provincial idea about there's only one person, we're going to get married. She had a rich, full life and found that she really wanted to work on her career, bought a home in Manhattan, like not easy to do, quite industrious, had an enormous social life. And yes, men were important. She wanted to wake up next to the same guy every day of her life. And she was dating a lot of the modern guys that were, enjoying the free sexuality and kind of not really getting on board. Or you'd get a guy and he was good, but you threw him back in because you thought there's that voice inside that said, he's great, but there's something missing. And so step by step, she trusted herself. And I remember the day that she called me, she'd met a guy, liked him, and he was there in the morning. And she called me and she said, he's still here. What should I do? I said, what would you do if that were your boyfriend? She said, oh, I'd make him breakfast. I said, good, make him breakfast. She said, Susan, he may freak out. Women in Manhattan don't even cook, let alone do they make breakfast. And I said, well, let him freak out. She made him breakfast. And of course, he freaked out. He ran out of the house probably thinking, oh my God, she's going to latch on to me. She's a crazy, desperate woman. But I said that because I wanted my friend to be herself. I want you to be yourself. You see, if everybody we date along our journey to finding our perfect mate, if we are giving them a shallow representation of who we are, if we're playing, at 20% of our game, and we're not really practicing how we would show up in a relationship, then we're not exercising those muscles for ourselves. And you think, well, I can just kind of tread water, and then when the right person comes along, I'll just step on the gas. But there's a funny thing about that. If you play full out and you treat each person as though they could be your magnificent partner, one, you are going to be coming with a consistent signal. This is who I am. This is how I roll. This is what it's going to be like to be with me. You're upping your game, and you're not diminishing your game to match somebody that may fall by the wayside. Maybe they're confused. Maybe you don't want them. And I watched my friend enter every relationship full out. She's a great cook, loves to entertain, incredibly generous. Now, oftentimes we think of those things like, oh, better be careful. You don't want to be used. You don't want them taking advantage of you. But you see, because my friend got on board with the principle of showing up and playing full out and treating each relationship as though it was her real relationship, she came in on the highest level It allowed her partners to function on the highest level. And her long journey to get to this point today with this gorgeous ring on her finger, she was constantly working toward it and evolving as that person who was stepping into the role of being the woman she wanted to be. So you know my material. You know I'm a big fan of you always being the best version of yourself. Every day, there will be people who will try to convince us that we should be less, because they are. Don't become what you hate. You don't need to be less because they can't be more. Play your game full out. Whether you know it or not, by playing your game full out, as though this current partner is the one, you are practicing your own game, and you are getting comfortable with the essence of who you are, which means when you meet that person, you've got a little giddiness in your stomach and the stakes are high, it will be easy for you. But all the time you are giving an accurate impression as to what this person is getting. So never be less. Always be the greatest version of yourself. I promise you, it does pay off. I know it does. I've seen it repeatedly. This is one situation. But my friend is blissfully happy, and I've never seen her meld more beautifully with another human being, because she has always been herself. Thank you so much, Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net. If you prefer, please tune in to iTunes to The Susan Winter Show. Thanks a lot.